last night in New Hampshire primary yesterday. We were so honored that he's making this his first stop right after that huge win.
Huge.
So please welcome Senator and presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. First of all, congratulations on this win last night. I mean, it was quite something. But the whole journey's been quite something. People fainting and you know, they're screaming, they're passing out. I mean, so my question is, it's a wonderful thing that's happened. But how do you keep this momentum? How do you go to, I don't know, Nevada? How do you go to the Carolinas? How do you keep this going?
Yeah.
With a lot of effort, I'll tell you. There's a lot of hard work in front of us. But I think the message that we're bringing forth, that this country is supposed to be a nation of fairness. And we're not seeing that fairness right now. We have massive levels of income and wealth inequality. The 20 wealthiest people in America now own more wealth than the bottom 50%, 150 million people. As I go around the country, we're finding kids who leave school $50,000, $100,000 in debt.
That's crazy.
It is. We are punishing people for trying to get an education. What sense is that?
I was telling you before, which I've said on the show, that when I went to college, this is how old I am, it was $24 a term at Queens College.
Wow.
No, that's right.
That was free. That's free.
And you had schools like the University of California, one of the great public university systems in the world, virtually tuition free.
Yeah.
Today, you go to Germany, you go to Scandinavia. Not only, I was at a meeting once and I said, well, in Scandinavia, college education is free. And some kid from Finland raises his hand. You're wrong. They pay us to go to college. The point being is that countries are investing in their young people.
Yeah.
They want the best educated workforce.
Night that Wall Street is running the country.
Yes.
And that you implied that Hillary is tied to big banks and people are tired of the greed. Do you think that some of the votes you got in New Hampshire were from people just tired and not wanting to vote for Hillary?
Let me give you an example. Everybody here knows that the greed and recklessness and illegal behavior on Wall Street drove this country into a horrible recession, right? 3 weeks ago, Goldman Sachs, one of the large financial institutions in the country, reached a settlement with the federal government for $5 billion. Okay? How many people in Goldman Sachs will now have a criminal record? Zero. Some kid in New York City picked up with marijuana today will have a police record for the rest of his life. But if you're an executive on Wall Street whose illegal behavior helps destroy the economy, hey, not a problem. And I think people are upset about that.
You know, Bernie, over the weekend, Bill Clinton...
That was a grown man, Joy. That's not a kid. That was a grown man.
Well, I can't see. I can't see. He looks normally old to me. Whatever. To me, Bernie's a young man. Anyway, Bern, over the weekend, Bill Clinton, he really had... He went hard on you, I thought. He says that you're hermetically sealed from reality. Trump, in his acceptance victory speech, so-called, he said, you want to give away our country, talking about taxes and things like that. What's your response to all that?
My response is that what we have, first of all, I was disappointed in President Clinton. I've known him for 25 years, and I like him and I respect him. And I hope that this campaign does not degenerate into really
he's fighting for his wife.
Right, I understand that. But nonetheless, let's keep it on the issues, not making personal attacks. But let me say, in terms of Trump, who is, of course, a multi-billionaire, what we have seen in the last 30 years in this country is a massive redistribution of wealth. Problem is, it's gone from the middle class to the top 1/10 of 1%. So what I believe, I believe that when we have 47 million people living in poverty, when you got the highest rate of childhood poverty in America of almost any major country on earth, when you have major corporations making billions of dollars in a given year, paying zero in federal income taxes, you know what? Yeah, I do think that the wealthiest people in this country and the largest corporations should be asked to pay their fair share of taxes.
Senator Sanders? Senator Sanders, guns and gun violence in our country has become one of our nation's biggest problems. Hillary Clinton has argued repeatedly that you are out of step with what progressive voters feel about gun control. Vermont has some of the most lax gun laws in our country, and you have voted against the Brady bill. You did support allowing riders to bring guns in checked bags onto Amtrak trains. If you become president, what will you do about guns in our nation?
Let me just say about Amtrak. Right now, if you wanted to take a gun on an airplane and you checked it, you could do that. So there's nothing, that is not a controversial issue, I think. But here's the view, here's the point. I resent people saying that I am out of touch. In 1988, I ran for the United States Congress from Vermont, okay? The gun people were against me because in 1988, I said I did not think it appropriate that we should be selling assault weapons in this country. I lost that election by 3 points, okay? I have consistently fought for instant background checks because at the end of the day, what we want is to keep guns out of the hands of people who should not have them, people with criminal backgrounds, people who are mentally unstable. I have fought that. I want to work with President Obama to expand that right now. I am strongly supportive of doing away what we call the gun show loophole, which means that you could avoid the instant background check through the internet or a gun show, and you could buy a gun legally without having to go through the instant background check. So I think I am very much in tune with where the American people are in gun safety.
I want to just ask you.
And by the way, I have a D- voting record from the NRA. That should say something.
So now, you get elected. You know you're going to be facing House and Senate that is, really going to be, I feel, very obstructionist. I could be wrong. It's possible. How do you feel about the EPA and what's going on in Flint? What do you think we can do to prevent this kind of insanity from happening even everywhere? Because we know there are a lot of states in the union right now that have these problems, but nothing as bad as Flint has. How would you get around these folks saying, oh, it's not a big deal?
I think you have one of the great public health crises of our time.
Yeah.
I have asked for Governor Snyder's resignation, and I didn't say that easily. I didn't make that politically. The irresponsibility there in terms of what the government, state government knew and should have done and did not do is literally beyond comprehension. Yeah. And what I will say to you, Whoopi, also is I think most people know, if that was an affluent white community, I suspect government would have responded somewhat differently.
Yes.
But it's an unspeakable tragedy because we don't even know. We're not going to know for many, many years what the long-term impact on brain development is for the kids right now. But bottom line is, if the state is not prepared to act, federal government should act absolutely decisively in every respect.
I just want to say thank you for being classy with what you do and standing up for people like me of color, sexual orientation, and everything else. But you have your own flavor ice cream just to lighten up the mood a little. Are you lactose, Bernie? Are you lactose?
No, I'm not.
Okay, let's see.
Right, I'm tasting this for the very first time.
What is it called?
Let's start with this.
Chocolate.
So it's called Bernie's Yearnings, and this
Bernie's Yearnings.
It's Bernie's Yearnings. Ben and Jerry created one just for you, and we had to show this. What's the other one?
It's good. It's really good. This is the first time I tasted it.
Did you like it?
Excellent, really good. I'm not just saying that because it's Bernie's yearning. Yeah. It's really good.
All right now. So we're gonna go and come right back because we got more to talk to the fabulous Bernie Sanders and his wife Jane is here. Hey, Jane!
Back with Senator Bernie Sanders. Okay, that's funny. You love it? How much do you love that?
Yeah, Larry David is great.
It's hilarious.
Fantastic, yeah.
It does you really to a T, I think.
You should see me do him, though.
You know, I want to ask you something about Mayor Bloomberg because, you know, he was a very good mayor of New York City. Everybody liked him. And now he's threatening to run for president on the independent ticket. And, you know, what could happen there is that the Democratic votes, a lot of them that would go to you, would go to him. I think it would hurt the Democrats more than the Republicans. Can you live with that? I mean, what are we supposed to do about that?
Well, I couldn't live with that if the result was that we elected some right-wing Republican to become president of the United States. So I would hope Mayor Bloomberg would give some thought to that.
Okay. I think he should, too.
Well, since this political campaign at times has been a little bit nasty, and since Valentine's Day is right around the corner, I would like for you to say one nice thing, even if it's just one word, about the following people.
Uh-oh. This is going to be challenging.
Do it. He's amazing.
John Kasich.
Old friend.
Donald Trump.
What can I say?
One nice thing. Come on, Bernie. One nice thing.
He has nice ties.
He has hair.
Nice hair.
Nice hair.
Humble.
Hillary Clinton.
Intelligent.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz.
Loud.
Loud.
Loud. Is that nice? Okay, that's it. That's all I want to know. It's open for a little more.
I just want to point out that your wife is in the audience with us today. Thank you for coming. I have a question for you, actually, if it's okay.
Okay.
You have spoken out publicly about Donald Trump, and the Huffington Post just is this?
Oh.
Okay. And the Huffington Post just labeled him a xenophobic and racist. But then you won and he won. What does that say about our country? We have such strong this and then such loving this. What do you say about that?
I think they find a commonality in terms of a very surface commonality in terms of people saying what they think and not being part of the inside crowd, just saying whatever is polished and prepared by speechwriters and by pollsters. I think that's the best face I can put on it, considering Valentine's Day is around the corner.
Thank you.
Except that in the victory speeches, Bernie gave a postgraduate speech and Trump gave a kindergarten speech, in my opinion.
Well, Senator Sanders. Senator, we've learned or have heard that you met with Al Sharpton this morning for breakfast at Sylvia's restaurant in Harlem.
What'd you order?
Well, it wasn't much of a breakfast. I only had half a cup of coffee.
Half a cup of coffee. Okay. You've got to go back because Sylvia's is a wonderful restaurant. But my understanding is that it's virtually impossible to win the Democratic nomination without the support of the African American and the Latino community. Going into South Carolina, we know that Hillary Clinton certainly is going to be campaigning with Trayvon Martin's mother, with Eric Gardner's mother. What do you intend to do to reach out to the African American community and stir up that support base, which you will need to get the nomination?
Well, we have a long list of really well-known African-American leaders. Keith Ellison, congressman from Minnesota, Ben Jealous, former head of the NAACP, Nina Turner, former state senator, Cornel West, one of the great public intellectuals in this country. So we have a lot of support within the African-American community. But I think most importantly, I think the reason we'll do well is our views on criminal justice in this country, and that is we have a broken criminal justice system. Why should we in America have more people in jail, largely African American and Latino, than any other country on earth? Okay. And I think most Americans, black, white, Latino, whoever, understand that it is not acceptable to see unarmed people being shot by police officers. And as I'm a former mayor, so I know most police officers work hard, doing a very difficult job. But when a police officer breaks the law, like any other public official, that officer must be held accountable. And let me just say this. When youth unemployment in the African-American community, kids who are unemployed or underemployed for high school graduates, is 51%. Don't tell me we do not need to invest heavily in the African-American community and create decent paying jobs.
Joining us. And you know, it's funny because last night we saw you celebrating your win by shooting some hoops. Normally us girls here wear heels, but we decided to celebrate with you coming on the show by playing some basketball. You down for the cause?
All right, let's do it. I don't know what is. Come on, Whoopi, show the world.
Our thanks to Bernie Sanders and his wife, Jane. We'll be right back with more Hot Topics.